Thank you, Bhanteji, for guiding meditation. That was the peaceful meditation. Now it is time to listen to Dhamma for some time. In the in our life, Dhamma is like the medicine to find happiness. And that medicine is to be rightly applied. Like all medicines, it should be applied in the right way. So practicing Dhamma also should be done in the right manner. And one of the most fundamental aspect of practicing Dhamma, you are coming here regularly, Sila, Samadhi, Panya, or you can call it Dana, Sila, Bhavana, whatever you want to call it. The important thing is to find a way to bring our mind back to the right place. Whether it is Sila, whether it is Samadhi, whether it is Dana, whether it is Metta, Karuna, whatever it is, these are ways to bring our mind back to the right place. Our mind is working whole day and whole night. It is not empty or it is not sitting idle. It is working all the time. It is working. Only thing is how it is working that makes all the difference. If it is working in the right direction or not working in the wrong direction. So when your mind is in this right direction and wrong direction, you also have to understand by yourself. For example, when you do something, when you are very restless to get something, or you have aversion or anger or ill will towards anyone or anything, the one of the fundamental qualities of the mind is when you have any unwholesome state, it makes the mind agitated. It makes the mind restless. It makes the mind, it takes away the peacefulness of the mind. So this is the important thing. So now when we practice the Dhamma, then it has to be something peaceful, the other way around. If the unwholesome tendencies take away our peacefulness, then we must do the wholesome things to go back to the peacefulness. When you practice meditation, you feel peaceful. When you let go the unwholesome tendencies, you feel peaceful. When you practice the Sila, 5 precepts or 8 precepts, then you feel peaceful. When you are able to practice Metta, Karuna, loving kindness, compassion, peaceful. When you are offering dana, sharing your time or wealth or things with other people, then you are peaceful. So there is an element of peacefulness in the wholesome actions. This, and there is an element of restlessness in the unwholesome actions. This has to be clearly understood in our practice. So what is wholesome, what is unwholesome? Here and now we can verify in our mind. We can check in our mind, because we know when it is peaceful, it is right. When it is restless, it is not, it doesn't feel right. So like this, you only have to check, you only have to verify. And then you also have to create the causes and conditions to be peaceful. Like, for example, that you came here today, coming here and practicing meditation and listening to Dhamma Discourse. These are causes and conditions to be peaceful. But then it is not possible for all of you to come every day, because you have work, you have responsibilities. So then you should also know how to be peaceful where you are living. So we give the mind the right kind of objects. Whatever good we do, we must do it again and again. When whatever good we do, we must rejoice in those good actions also again and again. And then we must train the mind in such a way that if it goes to the unwholesome states, if it goes to the restlessness, if it goes to anything that is not right, greed, hatred, ignorance, then it should not stay there for too long. It should not grasp at those states. When we are angry and we are able to recognize this is anger, when we have aversion, we are able to recognize this is aversion, then we should eventually go back to the peacefulness. This is part of Samma Vayama, right effort. In the Noble Eightfold Path, there are 4 types of right efforts. So this is right effort, going back to the wholesome states of mind, going back to the peaceful state. To be able to do that, we should have some level of mindfulness, first of all, to know that our mind is restless, our mind is agitated, our mind is moving very fast from this to that, not finding enough peacefulness or not finding enough happiness. So you should have some amount of mindfulness. It is very necessary. And then also, it is also necessary to be able to go back to the right state of mind. Sometime you will be able to do it immediately. Sometime it will take a lot more time, because our mind is not a fixed phenomena. Sometimes if your greed comes, then you can immediately remove it. Sometimes if your greed comes, you may not be able to remove it for a long time. But then eventually you should get rid of it sooner or later. It should not continue for like days and months and years. Whatever mental states, eventually you should get rid of it. One simple way to do it is to keep a word or a meditative practice. For example, you can use the word the Buddha or Dhammo or Sangho or word, right word, you can use that word. You can repeat in the mind. When you feel not so right, then you can repeat the Buddha, Dhammo, Sangho like this, whatever you feel right. Because then you are not using, you are not spending time with your unwholesome tendencies. You are focusing inside something else. Sometimes it is even sometimes when the unwholesome states arise. Sometimes people should just uh, instead of just sitting in that same posture, sometimes just get up, standing or walking. Because if we are, it is like giving fodder, giving opportunities to the unwholesome states. You're sitting and thinking, you have anger and you are sitting and thinking about the anger will naturally increase. But if you are not focusing on the anger, you're focusing on something other than the anger, then automatically the anger should decrease. It is very essential that we have to train ourselves and do experiment with ourselves in various ways to know our mind, to know the tendencies of our mind. Everybody has a different tendency because everybody's actions are different. The actions because of which we are born are different actions. We say Nanatta Kaya, Nanatta Sanya. The body is also different, the mind is also different. So that's why there is no fixed formula that only this much you do and it will work for everybody in the same way. That's why Lord Buddha gave the teachings in different manner to different people. Essentially, the fundamentals are same, but the way he taught it was different because of the tendencies of different people. So you have to have this amount of mindfulness and wisdom in our day to day life and to be able to go back to the peacefulness of our mind. Peacefulness is the right foundation. For example, when your mind is peaceful and people come and tell you something which may not be right or which is against you or hateful or anything, but then your anger or aversion will not arise suddenly. So it is the right kind of base to practice the Dhamma. So whatever good we do, for example, if you have to come here, like today is Sunday, and then you have to get up in the morning and get ready and come here, and then if your mind have a lot of restlessness or some amount of aversion or anything, then it is not so easy. Then you will say, oh, it is difficult to go so far and today is Sunday and I cannot go and this and that. Then automatically your mind will go back to, no, I will not go. But then you have to remove some of these mental tendencies before coming here. Okay, I will make the effort to go. So the peacefulness is the strength of your mind to cultivate anything good, cultivate anything powerful. Is the base. That's why Lord Buddha told us to cultivate the wholesome things because then it is like going back to the base. And we should we should have rejoice in doing good things because then we are creating the what Samma Ditthiya and Samma Sankappo. When we rejoice in good actions means we are rejoicing in peacefulness. Then we have right view and right intention. Intention to be peaceful. Intention to let go, intention not to harm, intention to help, intention to be kind with ourselves and with other people, intention to not to have greediness or possessiveness, intention to renounce, intention to share, intention to be generous, all these right intentions that come because of peacefulness. So this has a great value. And also, eventually, this peacefulness is capable of producing wisdom. As you are allowing your mind to be peaceful, then you eventually understand the nature of mind, understand how it reacts to certain things, positive, negative. You know the likings and dislikings. When we are angry, we don't know sometimes we are angry. When we have jealousy or anger or pride or arrogance or greed or all these unwholesome tendencies, is it the case that you know all the time correctly, perfectly how much of unwholesome tendency you have at that point of time? We may not know. Because when we have these tendencies, then automatically we tend to grasp it as I, my feeling, my thought, my mental state. Then it obstructs the wisdom. But if you have the peacefulness, then the tendency to catch it as I or me or mine is less. That's why people who practice meditation sincerely, they don't get angry or fight or hate people or tend to be very agitated all the time. They tend to be they tend to react in a take things in a positive and in a much more controlled manner when difficult situations come because of this simple thing, because the base is strong. So practicing, cultivating peacefulness is very fundamental to our Dhamma practice. Whatever we do, we can use it to gain some peacefulness. Whether it is practicing meditation, whether it is mindfulness, whether it is metta karuna, whether it is dana, whether it is sila, it is a mode of cultivating peacefulness. And cultivating peacefulness is giving rise to wisdom and right understanding and right intention. We say right view, which is wisdom, but the understanding of the noble truth of suffering and cause of suffering and ending of suffering and path leading to the ending of suffering. These are the main four right views. The first thing is what? Suffering. When somebody is greedy or angry, they have suffering. But the question is, do they understand they have suffering at that time? Somebody is excessively greedy or excessively angry or excessively jealous or excessively arrogant. Do they understand at that point of time that they have suffering? Mostly they don't. Mostly they don't. Because that is, instead of peacefulness or wisdom, the main thing that is dominant is I. So they have no wisdom, no understanding at that time. This is what it is. This is suffering. Grasping at these mental states is suffering. So there is no understanding of the first noble truth. There is no understanding of the second noble. This is the cause of suffering, grasping. Now people will say, Four Noble Truths. Sometimes you hear, no, Four Noble Truths, Four Noble Truths, you hear many, many times. And you may think, Four Noble Truths are something that one fine day after doing meditation for many days and months and years I will understand. No, you are mistaken. You have to understand it in small, small ways also to understand it. And finally, this small amount of wisdom will give rise to big amount of wisdom. So you have to understand in your day-to-day life also. It's not that one fine day you will understand Four Noble Truths. Every day you will understand a bit, and then eventually you will see it everywhere, in every phenomenon. Today you understand one thing about Four Noble Truths. Tomorrow you understand another thing. Then finally all this comes together, and then everywhere you look around, you see, oh, this is also part of dukkha. Dukkha samudaya. It is like this. So it is not like one day you understand, every other day you do something but you don't understand. It's not like this. And this is where our base of peacefulness is so important, to allow us to understand the Four Noble Truths here and now, the dukkha here and now. When there is suffering, there is suffering. Suffering means any kind of dissatisfaction. It need not be some very big thing, even small thing also. You are sitting, maybe sitting for a longer time, your back will pain, or hands or legs will pain. That's also a part of Four Noble Truths. When it pains and you grasp at it, then you have suffering. Oh, this is pain. This is suffering. I don't like. Then also this is Four Noble Truths. Dukkha Satcha. Dukkha Samudaya is there. And then when you understand, I am grasping, I am struggling, I need not do this. Then this is Dukkha Nirodha. And then to give it up, you need to have wisdom, right understanding. So the Four Noble Truths are right here in small, small things, just like in the big things. And when you understand them for small, small ways in these Four Noble Truths, then only you understand it in the a big way. When we say our life is like this or like that, our life is like this or like that. Our life is not one single thing, no. Our life is made up of every day. Those days are made up of many hours. Those hours are made up of many seconds and minutes. So it is combination of all the things. So in every moment when you understand this is suffering, this is cause of suffering like this, then wherever you go, then you are clear. Then you have understanding, wisdom. This is suffering. This is how it comes. Big way it comes or small way it comes. Because mind tends to go somewhere and grasp. Say, I like this, I don't like this, I want this, I don't want this, it does like this. And it creates unhappiness then and there, in big things or small things. What is important? What is the second noble truth? Craving. To crave, to go and grasp. Through liking or through disliking. Kamatanha, bhavatanha, and vibhavatanha. Through liking or disliking, when we grasp, this is second noble truth. So grasping can be in big thing, grasping can be in small things. But the important thing is to understand the craving, the grasping. Is it the case that small grasping will not produce unhappiness, but big grasping will produce unhappiness. All cravings and all graspings will produce unhappiness. Small ones will produce small unhappiness, big ones will produce big unhappiness. That's all. But the fundamentals are same. So when you know how the craving is, what is the how it flows from the mind, what is the tendency, how it exactly feels when it comes out of our mind, the feeling of that craving, and when it comes out and goes and attaches to something, how it exactly feels, how the dissatisfaction exactly arises there. This is the second noble truth. Whether in a big suffering or in a small suffering, the mechanism is same. Mechanism will not be different. Only the intensity will be different. In big suffering, maybe intensity is big, small suffering, intensity is less. But the mechanism will be same. The feeling of the mind when it has craving, same. Big craving, small craving, mind will feel in a certain way. Craving getting stuck somewhere, mind will feel in a certain way. Dissatisfaction arises, mind will feel in a certain way. That will be universal. Only thing is it may be stronger, it may be weaker. But the mechanism doesn't differ, is not different. So when Lord Buddha was telling us to understand the Four Noble Truths, for example, first noble truth or the second noble truth, he was telling us to understand the mechanism, not to imagine the Four Noble Truths, but to understand how the mind works. This is craving, this goes and attaches to something, and then it becomes suffering. This is the mechanism. We have to understand it in all things. Then, whenever we go, we can apply. It's like you start with small experiments. But when you do enough small experiments, then you know how it works. Then you can do bigger experiments also. And you know it is working. You know the fundamentals. You know. And all this we can develop by developing peacefulness in our mind. As soon as the peacefulness it goes away, then what happens? Restlessness comes. The strong I comes. I like this, I don't like this. And then automatically wisdom goes away. There is no understanding left in the mind. Then there will be only unhappiness or suffering. So, whatever you do, your dana, your sila, your pavana, your sila, samadhi, panya, your practice, whatever you do, is a mode of cultivating peacefulness. Is the mode of cultivating peacefulness, and peacefulness is the mode of cultivating wisdom to, to realize, to let go, to be free. And this is not something that one fine day you can do. This is something that you have to cultivate in each big and small situations till the time it becomes better and perfect, and then finally becomes perfect. It is so you have to someday you have more peacefulness, someday you have less, but you should have peacefulness at least. Then you have a base to go back, to stay peacefully, and then to be able to understand, have wisdom, have the ability to let go. So it should be like a habit. Through the practice of Dhamma, going back to peacefulness should be habit, because that's ultimately your real home. You can go, you all live in your home. You live with your family members, and then friends and relatives come and visit. they say this and that, and sometimes you agree with them, sometimes you don't agree with them, sometimes you like them, sometimes you don't like them. But then this type of home is not very good, because it is always changing, always unstable. That's with all the people. But when you are able to go back to the peacefulness of your heart, that is the home that is always nice. Nobody can take it from you. And you can always be at ease and always go back to mindfulness and wisdom. So, this is the real home that you should cultivate. Home that will stay with you in this life, that will stay with you when you cultivate in next life, that will stay with you up to you reach the Nibbana, final peacefulness. Nibbana is also, Lord Buddha says, Nibbana is the highest peacefulness. Santipadang Anuttarang, the highest peacefulness. Nibbana is also peacefulness, but in a little different way. Peacefulness that is free from likings and dislikings, cravings and aversions, perfectly free from all contradictions. But it is a peacefulness. So when we say happiness, it means this: there is nothing left to be excited, happy, unhappy, sad, uh, gain, loss, nothing left. That's why it is peaceful. That's why it is happiness in this way. So, this much we offer to you for your practice, cultivation, and we conclude the Dhamma talk here today. And we share the merits with all of you. May all of you be able to practice and ultimately Nibbana Sadhu Sadhu Sadhu. Some announcement is there, Vajira? You can tell Dhammachakka. We have Dhammachakka Day coming up on 21st July. That is also Sunday.